But, of course, there will come the final battle between the Empire of Frostspire and the Empire of Blazing Sun for control over all of Asia, and thus, for 280 years, both empires prepare 10 things over those years. The Empire of Frostspire prepares the following 10 things. 1. Celestial Frost Nova, a devastating magical spell that unleashes a freezing shockwave, immobilizing and damaging enemy forces. 2. Eternal Frost Armor, advanced armor imbued with perpetual frost magic, offering unparalleled defense against both physical and magical attacks. 3. Avatar of Frost, summon a colossal elemental embodiment of ice and snow, capable of crushing enemy formations and freezing entire battlefields. 4. Frostspire Citadel, construct an impregnable fortress fortified with enchanted ice walls and automated frost defenses. 5. Glacial Amplifier, device that enhances the potency and range of frost-based spells and abilities across the battlefield. 6. Icebound Wyverns, train and deploy elite aerial units capable of freezing enemies with icy breath and disrupting enemy aerial superiority. 7. Arctic Teleportation Network, establish a network of magical portals across strategic locations, enabling rapid deployment and logistical advantage. 8. Snowstorm Sentinels, autonomous constructs powered by elemental magic, patrolling and defending key locations from intruders. 9. Cryogenic Warships, construct formidable naval vessels armed with cryogenic cannons, freezing enemy ships and controlling sea battles. And finally 10. Frozen Heart Elixir, potion that enhances resilience and stamina, granting soldiers temporary immunity to frost-based attacks and enhancing combat endurance.
While the Empire of Blazing Sun prepared the following 10 things. 1. Solar Eclipse Cannon, a colossal weapon harnessing solar energy to unleash devastating blasts capable of incinerating enemy fortifications. 2. Solaris Ascendant Armor, advanced armor infused with Solaris Divine Essence, providing unparalleled protection and augmenting offensive capabilities. 3. Celestial Fury Blade, a celestial sword forged from meteoric iron, capable of channeling solar energy into devastating melee attacks. 4. Sunfire Phoenix Summon, a majestic phoenix imbued with solar flames, able to incinerate enemy formations and provide aerial superiority. 5. Solar Nexus Fortress Constructa, fortified stronghold powered by celestial energies, equipped with automated solar defenses and strategic command centers. 6. Luminous Vanguard Elite Infantry units equipped with solar-powered weaponry, capable of precision strikes and rapid deployment. 7. Astral Manipulation Matrix device that manipulates celestial alignments to enhance solar magic potency and precision across the battlefield. 8. Radiant Skyships develop advanced aerial vessels powered by solar sails, capable of swift maneuvers and unleashing solar-based aerial assaults. 9. Solar Beacon Network establish a network of celestial beacons to enhance communication, surveillance, and magical coordination. And finally, 10. Eternal Radiance Elixir Potion that grants temporary invulnerability to solar-based attacks and enhances soldiers' combat prowess with divine energy. And thusly, finally, after 280 years of preparation and research, in the year 999, the Empire of Frostspire and the Empire of Blazing Sun engage in the final battle for the control of all of the continent of Asia. The Battle of the Great Wall commences with a display of power never before seen on the continent. Emperor Cato, standing atop the Solar Nexus fortress, watches as the Luminous Vanguard and the Sunfire Phoenixes take to the skies. Their fiery wings cast a warm glow over the horizon, a stark contrast to the icy blasts of the Frostspire's icebound wyverns. Empress Sora, in her eternal frost armor, commands the Frozen Heart Elixir-enhanced soldiers. They march through the snow, their footsteps leaving trails of frost in their wake. The clash of their weapons against the Solaris Ascendant armor of the Blazing Sun's knights echoes across the desolate landscape. The two sides are equally matched, their armies clashing with a ferocity that can only come from centuries of preparation. The Celestial Frost Nova is deployed, a swirling vortex of ice and wind that sweeps across the battlefield, decimating everything in its path. Emperor Cato, unfazed, counters with the solar eclipse cannon, unleashing a beam of pure solar energy that pierces the frozen sky. The blast shatters the nova, sending shards of ice flying in every direction. But the cannon's power does not go unanswered. The glacial amplifier responds, redirecting the solar beam into a wall of ice that stands firm against the onslaught. The Frost Spire Citadel looms in the distance, a bastion of cold and darkness. It is the heart of Empress Sora's power, a fortress that has never been breached. Emperor Cato knows that to win the war, he must claim this stronghold. He orders his radiant skyships to advance, their cannons blazing with solar fury. The Citadel's defenses come to life, firing back with the cryogenic warship's deadly ice cannons. The sky is ablaze with the dance of fire and ice, a fiery ballet of destruction. On the ground, the luminous vanguard clashes with the Arctic Sentinel units. The Sunfire Phoenixes soar through the air, their fiery wings illuminating the night as they dive into the enemy lines. The Sentinels, armed with Peakwalker armor, stand firm, their jade-infused weapons slicing through the fiery onslaught. The clanging of steel and the crackling of ice fills the air as the two sides become locked in an epic struggle for supremacy. The Emperor's eyes narrow as he observes the battle from the safety of the Solar Nexus fortress. He knows that the key to victory lies within the Frost Spire Citadel. He sends a contingent of his most elite warriors, the Phoenix Legion, to infiltrate the Citadel and sabotage its defenses from within. They are equipped with the Eternal Radiance Elixir, granting them the speed and strength to bypass the relentless ice storms and the watchful gaze of the Arctic sentries. The Phoenix Legion's approach is swift and silent. They navigate the treacherous landscape of the Frost Spire Citadel, avoiding detection by the patrolling undead. Once inside, they set to work, planting explosive charges on the massive crystal pylons that hold the Citadel's power. If they succeed, the Citadel will fall, and with it, the heart of the Frost Spire Empire above the fray. Shadow God Alpha watches from the shadows, his eyes gleaming with anticipation. He has not forgotten the destruction wrought upon his homelands, nor the suffering of his people. His empire of darkness grows stronger, fed by the chaos and despair of the warring factions. He knows that when the dust settles, he will have his opportunity to rise and claim the continent for himself. The Phoenix Legion's sabotage reaches its climax as the explosives are set, the ground trembles, and the pylons crack. The Citadel's power fluctuates, and the Arctic Sentinels falter. The luminous vanguard seizes the moment, their Sunfire maneuver gear propelling them through the weakened defenses. Empress Sora, feeling the disturbance, leaves her throne room, her eyes burning with icy rage. On the battlements, the Phoenix Legion and the Arctic Sentinels engage in a fierce duel. The Sentinels, now aware of the intrusion, fight with renewed ferocity. Yet, the Phoenix Legion, fueled by the Eternal Radiance Elixir, push forward. The air is filled with the scent of burning jade and the roar of clashing steel. The outcome of the battle hangs in the balance as the Phoenix Legion charges towards the throne room, their mission almost complete. Emperor Cato, watching from the Solar Nexus fortress, feels a surge of hope. If the Citadel falls, the war will be over, and he will be the undisputed ruler of Asia. But he also feels a twinge of doubt. Can he truly claim victory if he does not face Empress Sora himself? The Phoenix Legion reaches the heart of the Citadel, the chamber where Empress Sora awaits. The doors fly open, and the room is bathed in a fiery glow. Sora, clad in her eternal frost armor, stands tall, her eyes ablaze with the power of the sacred relic. The two sides pause, each taking in the other's might. Shadow God Alpha, sensing the critical juncture of the battle, descends from the shadows. He knows that the fate of Asia will soon be decided, and with it, the fate of his own nascent empire. Yet, he remains patient, his gaze unwavering, as the two titans of ice and fire clash in a dance of destruction. His time will come when the dust has settled, and the survivors are ripe for his dark embrace. The Phoenix Legion charges, their celestial fury blades slicing through the frigid air. The Arctic Sentinels respond with a barrage of jade-tipped arrows, which are in turn vaporized by the blazing aura of the Sunfire Phoenixes. The clanging of steel against ice echoes through the chamber, a symphony of war that has played out countless times in the annals of history. The battle is a spectacle of elemental fury. The Emperor's Solaris Ascendant armor gleams in the light of the setting sun, while Empress Sora's Frost Spire armor crackles with the power of the celestial Frost Nova. The ground beneath them freezes and thaws as the two leaders engage in a duel that will determine the future of the continent. The air is thick with tension as the final moments of the battle draw near. The Phoenix Legion's explosives are set to detonate, and the Solar Nexus Fortress is poised to deliver the final blow to the Frost Spire Citadel. Yet, Shadow God Alpha waits, his power coiled like a serpent ready to strike. The explosion rocks the Citadel, sending shards of jade and ice flying in every direction. The Phoenix Legion retreats, their mission accomplished. The Frost Spire forces, now leaderless, fall back, their will to fight shattered. The Empire of Blazing Sun emerges victorious, their banners fluttering in the smoky air. Emperor Cato steps forth, his gaze searching the wreckage for any sign of his enemy. But Sora is nowhere to be found. The whispers of the shadows grow louder, and a chill runs down his spine. He knows that the Shadow God has been watching, waiting for the moment of triumph to turn to ashes. The Empire of Shadow emerges from the chaos, their silent approach unnoticed amidst the cacophony of battle. The surviving soldiers of both sides look on in, horror as a new enemy emerges from the shadows, their eyes gleaming with dark intent. The war is not over, it has merely entered a new phase. Shadow God Alpha stands before the defeated forces, his presence a living embodiment of fear and despair. He speaks in a voice that echoes through the ages. Your wars have ravaged the land, but now there will be peace. My peace. The once mighty empires now face a threat that dwarfs their own ambitions, and the true battle for the soul of Asia is about to begin. Shadow God Alpha then suddenly moves so fast, he appears to teleport in front of Empress Sora, who, remembering the prophecy from long ago, in her last moments, uses all of her remaining power to launch the sacred relic to the west, into Europe, where the sacred artifacts all split off, all land across Europe, most landing across the Italian peninsula, and in the forest of Brocliant near France, while the sacred relic lands in San Marino, near a young noble with grand ambitions named Marcus Aurelius. Shadow God Alpha then impales Empress Sora with one of his tendrils of darkness, killing her instantly, then absorbing her power and even her body into himself through that same tendril of darkness with the fall of Frost Spire's Empress. The remaining Frost Spire forces are left leaderless and demoralized. The Shadow God's Empire of Shadow swiftly takes control, assimilating the survivors into his ever-growing forces. Meanwhile, in Japan, Emperor Cato, though victorious in battle, is haunted by the knowledge that the war has merely been the opening act to a far greater struggle. The prophecy of the reborn god echoes through his mind as he watches the last of the Frost Spire forces retreat. He knows that the true battle for Asia is yet to come. Word of the Shadow God's rise spreads like wildfire across the continent. The people of the once great empires live in fear, unsure of what the future holds. Yet, amidst the chaos, a new hope emerges. Marcus Aurelius, the young noble from San Marino, discovers the sacred relic in his lands. Its power calls to him, and he is compelled to take it up, sensing the coming storm. He begins to gather those who still believe in the virtues of light and justice. His goal to unite the fragmented lands of Europe and challenge the Shadow God before his power becomes too great to oppose. As the Shadow God tightens his grip on Asia, Marcus starts to organize his own forces in Europe, seeking alliances and preparing for the inevitable clash of civilizations. His visions of a world united under a banner of peace and prosperity fuel his ambition. The stage is set for a new era of conflict as the light of hope from the west grows brighter in contrast to the darkening skies of the east. The fate of the world rests on the shoulders of these two leaders, each wielding a piece of the ancient prophecy. The Shadow God, feeling the surge of power from the west, turns his gaze towards Europe. He knows that the time has come to fulfill his destiny and bring the entire world under his dominion. The Empire of Shadow begins to march westward, leaving a trail of frozen wasteland in its wake. The once proud lands of Asia are now a mere stepping stone in the Shadow God's quest for total control. Marcus Aurelius, now a beacon of hope, prepares his people for the clash of titans that is to come. He knows that the war will not be won by strength alone, but by the hearts and minds of those who fight for a better tomorrow. The world watches with bated breath as the forces of light and shadow converge on the battlefield of destiny. The echoes of their clashes will resonate through time, shaping the course of history and the very essence of humanity itself. Then, God Emperor Marcus Aurelius resets time back to the year 1000 all, just before Shadow God Alpha can reach his full potential and stop him, leaving him super frustrated, and thus, when this is about to happen the next time, he then suddenly begins flying off into space, and then he reaches his full potential and then goes from just outside of Earth's orbit to a planet on the outer edges of Andromeda Galaxy within a Planck instant, and there he finds a planet with a quaint little civilization on it, led by a cloaked figure who he then approaches. "Well then, who are you, newcomer?" the cloaked figure asks. Shadow God Alpha pauses for a moment to think, then responds, "Call me the Shadow God, to be continued."